So for this Grumpy Old Man episode, so today, I don't know, I'm exhausted. I'm very exhausted, and I'm not feeling well for weeks. But it's kind of like you can't get, you can't take time to fully rest. Anyway, while I'm driving, thinking about how my knee hurts because I've been driving close to about 1,500 miles this week, the last 4 days. I just can't stop thinking about, this political division, this deja vu that I see from Venezuela, which thankfully is not longer being exactly the same. But holy shit, it's incredible though, because listening to some other podcasts like American History Tellers, and they have a few part episode on how the political parties in the U.S. were created. And from the beginning, you could tell that basically the Republican Party used to be the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party used to be the Republican Party. By that I mean mentality. It explains a lot of the different things. For example, why the Lincoln Party was anti-slavery. Republicans. But now Republicans are not anti-slavery. They are pro-eliminating all rights. That doesn't fit their view. Now, little by little, you would see people changing sides, kind of like infiltrating the other side, I would call it. And, I'm going to act like I'm a middleman, but I'm just going to be swinging your way over there. And so, little by little, you change the sides. Now, after sometime between Kennedy being one of the last few Republicans like such, to then we have Reagan, who ended up doing the flip onto the party of the Republicans that we knew, now that we know now, that we knew up until 10 years ago, pre-Trump. Now, once Trump starts to get into it, we can see a new faction coming up, which is the MAGA faction, the extremists. At some point, they're going to change their name into a third party, that they're going to try to be their own thing, the real American view, which we all know is just, back to early 1900s, full 1800s, meaning slavery, women don't have rights, children are property, everybody's property except the one with the money. So, remember, that's the reason why we have an electoral college and not popular vote. It was because to be able to unite the Union again in the United States after Civil War, to give some peace to the slave owners, they decided they were going to have a compromise, and each black person will have, or each slave will have, a vote of a third of a vote. That's the value of it, was. But they didn't get to put in that vote. It was based on their owner's view. So, whatever the owner wanted to vote on behalf of those slaves, that's what they did. Sounds pretty familiar to what Vance and the Project 2025 wants to do with, making sure let's give rights to the kids, but let's have the extremist dads do that. Like, they're idiots. They forget that because they think the Democrats don't have kids, liberals don't have kids, gay people don't have kids, that they will be the only ones to populate the earth. I mean, I heard one say, well, we should just have a lot of kids so they can be more like us. That assumes that your kid won't have a mentality of their own, or that your brainwashing is going to be that great. People forget something. Kids are not ours. They don't belong to us. They're a gift to us. We are there to guide them, to teach them, and let them be on their way. We are only there to do all the work with none of the rewards. Remember all of that. Everybody expects and believes that kids belongs to them and we belong to our parents. No, those things are earned. We earned our kids' love by providing not only food, shelter, and whatnot, but by providing love and understanding and patience and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't have it like me, you do your damn best to learn it. And then you find a partner like the one I found and Jennifer, and then you learn from them those traits that you lack. Just like they may learn traits from you. Like people say marriage is 50-50. No, divorce is 50-50. Marriage is 100% on both sides. One person is sick, the other one does the laundry, pick up the house, does the food, takes care of the kids. Doesn't matter the gender. Simple and such. And so it's amazing to see how I was very skeptical of the whole switching Biden and whatnot, because I thought it was going to happen like in Venezuela, where split everything and division happens. But I thankfully say that I was wrong, and well, we at least are showing what a true American family looks like on both ends of the spectrum. And so, with that said, why is it that so many people refuse to do their own research? Why is it that it's so hard for all of us to admit that we're wrong? Like, you can't have a point of view and say that you're going to support somebody else who does not have the same point of view just because it's the same party. And if your point of view applies to somebody else but not to yourself, then it may be the wrong point of view to have. Don't you think? Like, how many people think that healthcare should not be free, that it should be paid for? If you don't have the money, you should pay for it. How many people think that school should be paid for? And if you don't have the money, you don't need it. But how many of those same will get sick and express frustration and anger that they don't get all these services for free? How is it that because I have a stroke and I need extreme therapy, I am only given basic life support and therapy just to maintain wiping my butt and have somebody else take care of feeding me and wiping me and bathing me and all of that, because, sorry, you don't have the money to have the very hard and strict therapy. So I don't think you can really express or say that you're a rich country having people who can afford health insurance or to get sick, because if you get sick, you can't work, and if you can't work, you can't pay your bills. And if you are paycheck to paycheck, and by that I mean you make $1,500 a month and you pay $1,400 a month, $2,000 a month, you pay $900 a month, you lose one day, that's a little bit more than $100 or more than $100, and now you are completely out of whack. Just imagine that, having $100 for the month. That's about $2 a day or so. $2 to $3 a day. So $3 a day. think of those things, ask those questions. And if the person says, I had people tell me that during COVID that, you know what, even if it's my own mother, I don't give a fuck. If it's her time, it's her time. But we shouldn't have any any limitations or seclusion or whatnot. Well, I mean, how do you feel about that statement? Because I was jaw dropped. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Literally, because money is more important, because an ideal is more important than to actually look around and say, you know what, I make enough money, because I know that the person did. I make enough money that I can go ahead and fuck it. We gotta do what we gotta do for society. If you don't want to live under society, then go move on your own. You can't live under society and expect to live like an anarchist. It does not work. You cannot expect to have laws and order when it's applied to punish somebody else. But for me, no, I'm good. Just like we had with our district attorney, the aye, back the blue, aye, back the blue, aye. But you know how you back the blue? By pulling over when they pull you over. By putting your hand on the steering wheel. Not because you're an alpha and a beta and I do and I won't. But because that allows the officer to see in the car from a distance and see that you are not a threat. You are not trying to hide stuff. You are not trying to conceal or pull out anything to hurt him. So, when they ask you for your driver's license, insurance, and registration, you give it. That's supporting the cops. Anything else aside from that, if you argue yourself with a cop, well, think about it this way. Let me break it down to you in a more simple way. You don't go to the club and argue with a bouncer to let you in. Because if anything, you argue with the club owner. So, you're going to argue with a bouncer. The bouncer has one job. To let some people in and keep the rest out. And if you want to fight it off with him, he only going to have one answer for you, which is going to be physical. It's going to be fight. And so you go talk to the owner. If the owner says you're good, the bouncer falls down. That's the court system and the cop. You don't fight the cop. You fight it in the court. You want to know what your process, you know how many people I've been in court and they say, I want my due process. And basically, dude, shut the hell up and we can have your due process. I need my lawyer. Shut the hell up. I'll read you your rights and I'll let you know that you have the right for a lawyer. Oh, but I don't have to say a damn thing. I know that, but you haven't let me give you that right. So whatever you're saying now, it still applies, whether you think so or not. Just because people like to think that they know what the law says doesn't mean that they do. Just because people think that they know something doesn't mean that they do. Many people think that they know what the kids want, need, or desire, and they don't. Many people say, my kid will not be gay. How the fuck do you dare to say something like that? Seriously. How? Because, honestly, this is just one of the most stupid things I've ever heard people say. Seriously. I had this conversation with an ex-friend of mine some 7 years ago. I really hope he upgraded and evolved in his thinking. Because to him it was very simple. So, Chuck, you're telling me that you are going to control it. Well, yes, I am, because it's very simple. I will kick their ass and out of my house if they become gay. All right. So, it's like the neighbor's daughter trying to be a man. Well, why is it trying to be a man? Because he was born a female. All right. What does it entail to be a man, in your view? A man is strong. A man provides for his family. A man does this. Well, let me see. This woman, man, whatever you want to call it, I will call him a man pays his bills, supports his family, pays for all of his things, goes to school. It's a great society member, pays his taxes, helps society with his work, and continues to work to study to expand his knowledge. You tell me if that's not a man. Do you care what somebody else really... And we can go to semantics. Yes, you go to the hospital and you're going to have to say that you're a cis male or female. Great. Cis woman or man. Great. For medical reasons. Perfect. But at the end of the day, I am not a doctor. So, since I'm not treating them medically, and I don't give a crap about what their life is as long as it doesn't hurt me or anybody else, what do I care? What do I care? Doesn't it say the Bible and all that crap to love your brother and everybody else and love thy neighbor and blah, blah, blah? Follow it. Follow it. Follow it. Money is not all. Like Forrest Gump said, some is needed, some is for show. You can only need so much money, the rest is for show, basically. So, and it's not a socialist point of view. I like to travel, I like to all do stuff, and I don't get to, and I am working my butt off to get to those goals. But at the same time, I am not going to scam my clients. I am not going to scam people, steal from other ones, because I can legally take it from them when I didn't earn it. So there's a lot being lost, and a lot of common sense being lost, a lot of critical thinking being lost. People now forget to look at different sources and come to their own conclusion. And if you don't want to do that, at least look at something more simple, like what we show our kids. If they say something that doesn't match what they're doing, then it's not right. If somebody tells you they love you and they hit you, they don't love you. If somebody says that they're going to take care of you, but they take from you your belongings, your energy, your love, your patience, and all that you do is misuse it, they don't love you. They don't care about you. So listen to but I hit you because I love you. I want to make sure that you listen. No, bitch. Learn how to do it properly. Communication is key. I love you, and I love you, and I love you. It's the same damn 3 words. But the intonation matters. Tone of voice is people say it's 70% of the communication. I say it's 90% of the communication. Because you can send all the emojis and everything you want in a text message, in a letter or whatever, and it will never give you the same as hearing the person saying it. And so I really don't know what I want to accomplish with this, except that I need a venting system. This is my venting system. I decided that I'm going to, if anybody has gotten to listen this far so far, I decided to make the decision to upload it because of the simple fact that maybe it'll be useful for my kids in the future. Like my son says, "Damn, Dad, all right, I'm going to ask you something, but no life lessoning, please. Let's just talk about it, no life lesson, because I make everything apparently a life lesson." So I am trying to avoid doing that, but I still have to let it out. And so I'm thinking that it will be this podcast. Grumpy old man. That's me. So I gotta stop saying so much, dang it. But yeah, I'm thinking that this would be my life lessoning for them, where it's up to them whether they want to listen to it or not, but God forbid something happens to me, they will still be able to have that there. Just like with the new parents for the second time. Which again, everything has been so damn busy that I'm not able to do any of that yet. I think we did a part 1 of 2 in January 1st, and we haven't done anything else. full body wax place back in October last year. We are still doing remodeling after construction to pass all inspections and whatnot, like 3 layers in the ceiling. But I'm thinking that we might be done by the 1-year anniversary before that. Hopefully. I'll be getting a lot of time back after that. Then I had to cut a whole bunch of trees, pine trees next to my house, really bad because they were getting out of control and out of whack. It was covering half of my second driveway. Don't think I got a big house. I just got lucky that the other person just took cut off the front yard and made it into a second driveway. And so I'm making my own car cover, boat cover, using the logs that I cut off so that I can use the post for the other side, and then I kept half of the logs of the original half of the logs of the trees still buried on the ground so that they can now flourish all again with the new pine leaves, and do like a little wall of leaves like that of pine, like in the always like that view. And so that will give me more time. I also, hopefully in this weekend and the next, I'll be able to start digging out the foundation side of the house, that little one part that I need to do to get the foundation good and from leaking into the basement. And then I can start working on building my office and a little recording office recording studio. It's only gonna be like a 10 by 12, but it would be perfect to avoid. This podcast, I don't really care about the sound as much as I care for me to talk. I don't even know how this is gonna sound because I'm in the car and I'm using a crappy Skull Candy Bluetooth, but that's it. The problem is I get a lot of my thinking done when I'm driving, so I have to figure out how to work with that. But yeah, whoa, watch out. People drive like if they are alone on the road. Like, I'm gonna put a blinker. Doesn't matter that you're right next to me. You better move because I put my blinker on. That means I get the right of way immediately. Like, wow. Or please, if you are listening this far into it, in my own ranting, please do not cruise on the left side of the road unless you're in England or some other place that is driven on the opposite side, because other than that, move over. Anyway, this is the end of my rant for today. I actually feel a little bit better. Jason, I love you, baby.